Hey, Ottawa Church family. I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you about this crisis that we are currently facing. I just got back from a trip to California. My family and I flew out to San Diego for a family vacation. And it's amazing how quickly things have been changing. If we had planned that trip just 1 week later, we would not have gone. At this point, they've pretty much shut down everything in the state of California. The governor is asking everyone to stay home. They're trying to slow the spread of this virus that is just wreaking havoc all across the world. And now we can see those numbers spiking in our own country as well. It was interesting to see all that kind of unfolding while we were out there in California. Of course, things were not this severe, or at least we didn't think that they were at the time that we left. We were a little bit concerned about air travel, things like that, but nothing was shut down at that point. But as the days went on, and just day by day, we could see the situation changing and worsening. In fact, we started in San Diego and then traveled around to a few other places in Southern California. We went out to Anza Borrego Desert State Park, one of our favorite places in Southern California. We went to Joshua Tree National Park, which was the first time for us. We'd never been there before. And then from there we traveled to Big Bear Lake and Lake Arrowhead. We stayed in Lake Arrowhead, where we almost got stuck on the mountain due to a snowstorm. That's a story for another time. But then we came back to San Diego because we were flying out on Thursday. And by the time we got back to San Diego, the city had already started shutting down. They had closed all of the museums, the zoo and the safari park were closed. Restaurants were starting to close. They were still doing takeout, but all of the dine-in sections of the restaurants were closed by that point. And so it was really kind of eerie just watching the whole city shut down like that. Our hotel was strangely empty and quiet. Watching all that happen, it really reminded me how uncertain life is. That just in a matter of days, that we can see these huge changes taking place. As the fear begins to set in, and people are rushing to the store in panic to buy supplies and all the toilet paper they can get their hands on. It happens so rapidly. It seems like most of the time we kind of cruise through life thinking that when we wake up in the morning, the world is going to be the same as how we left it the night before. But this virus, this pandemic is showing us that that's not always the case. Life is incredibly uncertain. And we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Things can change so rapidly. And if our confidence is in earthly things, if that's where we're putting our trust, we're going to be disappointed. We're going to be caught off guard because there's nothing in this world that is certain. And it has reminded me of one of my favorite Psalms, Psalm 46. I just want to share a few verses from this Psalm with you. It starts in verse 1. It says, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging." This psalm is saying that our hope and our trust is in God. And even when the world around us seems to be falling apart, we can be confident in our God. We can know that He is sure, that He will be with us no matter what happens. This pandemic is reminding us that no politician or president can save us from disaster or calamity. They can't stop these things from happening to us. Money can't stop these things from happening to us. I've seen a number of news reports about wealthy celebrities who have been diagnosed with coronavirus. Their wealth and their fame and their influence and their power did not stop them from getting this disease. And it's just a reminder to us that nothing in this world can give us security or assurance. God is the only one that we can rely on and count on in times of uncertainty and distress. And so there is no need for us to give in to panic. There's no need for our hearts to fail us in fear. This is a time to trust in God. And I know that what's happening is scary. I'm not saying that if we feel fear, that's somehow a failure of our faith. I feel fear during these times. I don't know what's going to happen. And it's frightening to watch what is happening in other countries around the world. I'm reading the news reports about what is happening in Italy, where just hundreds of new cases are being diagnosed every day. Hundreds of people are dying every day. Their healthcare system is totally overwhelmed. Their hospitals are filled with sick patients who have coronavirus. That's scary to see. And it's scary to think that could soon be happening here in our own country. But as this psalm reminds me, these are the times when I need to be extra certain that my faith is in God. Even though the world is falling apart, if my trust is in Him, then I don't need to give in to fear and panic. Verse 7 says, "The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress." So He is the one who protects us. He is the one who keeps us safe during these times. Now, of course, just because we have faith in God does not mean that there aren't other things that we can do, actions that we can take to try to limit the risk that we're facing right now. As you know, we've canceled our church services for the time being. And I know that's hard. That's hard for us to not be able to physically come and meet together for worship and for prayer meeting and for Sabbath school and all the different things that our church does together. There's so many different ministries and programs that we have that have been put on hold right now. And that's sad. I wish that were not the case, but I do believe that it's necessary for us to take these precautions. We're trying to protect people from getting this virus. We're trying to slow the spread, and social distancing is an essential component of that effort. And so I think it's important for us as people of faith, as Christians, to follow those recommendations that are coming to us from our public health officials, to limit our contact with each other just for the time being. So this means that we're going to have to be creative and find other ways to stay connected. We, of course, have our online church service, which we'll be streaming tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. There are videos like this where we can connect with each other a little bit. There's phone calls, there's text messages, there's email. Let's make use of the technology that we have that has allowed us to be more connected than in any previous time in human history. Let's use that to our advantage. I encourage you to be calling your fellow church members and checking in on them. Send them text messages or emails, especially our older members during this time. They're the ones who are most at risk of catching this virus, and so it's not safe for them to be out. Let's call them and encourage them, check in on them, make sure that everything is okay, see if there's anything that they need. Let's be the hands and feet of Jesus during this time of need. You know, I myself am actually under self-imposed quarantine because I've been out traveling. I don't think I'm sick, and I certainly hope that I'm not, and that no one in my family is, but just out of an abundance of caution, we've decided to stay at home for the next couple of weeks, just to be sure that we don't have any virus that we're going to pass on to someone else. One of the great dangers of coronavirus is that you can have it and be passing it along to other people. You can be contagious before you even have symptoms. And so that's why we're just being extra cautious. We don't want to share any germs with anybody else. But I'll be continuing to do videos like these, keeping in touch with you all in other ways. And I encourage you, if there's something that you need, or even if you just need someone to talk to, call your pastors. We're here for you. Call the church elders. They're here for you. We want to be supporting you and praying for you during this time. I know that it's unnerving to be in this situation that we're in with the future so uncertain. But that's why I wanted to share just a few verses from this psalm to encourage you and to remind you that even in times of great fear and uncertainty, we can trust in God. So I just want to end with verse 10 in this psalm, Psalm 46. It says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. So when you feel that fear start to rise in your heart, just stop, pause, and remember that He is still God, that He's still sitting on His throne. No, He doesn't promise us that life is going to be easy and that we're never going to face hardship or adversity. In fact, Jesus said the exact opposite to His disciples. He told them, in this world you will have tribulation. But then He said, be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. So when that fear comes, take it to God. Lay it at the feet of Jesus and say, Lord, help me to trust you more fully. Help me to remember that there's nothing in this world that is eternal. Nothing in this world that is really, truly reliable. Everything can change in the blink of an eye, in just a moment. The only thing that is certain, that is sure, that is eternal, that is lasting, is God. And when our faith is in Him, our future is secure as well. We have that promise of eternal life in Jesus, and nothing that happens in this world, not even coronavirus, can take that away from us. I hope that you have a blessed Sabbath, and I hope to be able to see you soon. God bless you.